wake to the weak glare of sunlight streaming in through the small high window in the wall. You can't remember your room having this kind of feature, or any hotel or motel room for that matter, and then yesterday comes crashing back to you. You glance at the time to see that you've slept into the afternoon. Experiencing the accident yesterday must have left you tired out. Oh, I bet. We cried really hard.
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
And the shock of it all, and I might have a concussion? I mean, really. Despite having been assured yesterday evening that you were free to anything in the fridge, you still feel like you're imposing on the Pines families and try to prepare as polite a guest breakfast as you can. You wash your dishes in the sink before you leave, and just as you're about to exit to the kitchen, you bump into Ford. Excuse. Oh, your yes, from
Can we take a minute to look in the background? There is a dead possum on the counter and a gallon of gasoline in the kitchen.
Yeah, I mean,
guys, what are we doing?
Stuff. There's also one empty can, a 2-liter of Sprite. I don't know what this is.
Got some ice cream that's out.
Oh, that's out? I thought maybe a bread box or a cereal box or something. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. And then there's something on top of the fridge.
That looks like a tackle
guys,
box,
what
maybe?
are we doing?
This is broken in. This is definitely not safe and is a fire hazard. But, neither here nor there.
And, there's Ford, which is the biggest fire hazard ever. Like,
because it's getting me really hot.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, wow. We're still going. For a good solid moment, Ford rewards you in awkward silence. Ford clears his throat. I believe Stanley's taking a look at your car outside if you want to be there for it. You give a nod and make to leave for real this time when Ford speaks up again. And Pluto and I, I'm sorry again for the accident. If I'd been smarter about... Well, let's just say it's entirely my fault, and you shouldn't worry about this at all. When it comes down to it, Stanley does have a knack for cars. I predict he'll be back on the road in a matter of weeks. Weeks. You can't keep the dismay off your face. And you really can't keep yourself to try either. What do you mean dismay? I get to stay weeks together with this man.
Weeks?
Why not months?
I get weeks?
Years. Eternities. Lifetimes. I do. Let's just say that. What am I going to do with weeks? Oh, there's a lot I can do with this man in weeks. Ford, who'd gone kind of uncomfortable and closed off when your face fell, recovers at the prospect of a question he can answer. Well, there's the town to tour, of course, and the Mystery Shack. But if you ask me, that all pales in comparison to... Hold on, do you hear that? Ford turns to the kitchen doorway to investigate. Sounds like... The sound comes again, and this time you hear it as well. The squeal of a pig, followed by a pair of quick footsteps running down the stairs. Waddle stumbles past the open kitchen doorway, and Mabel comes into view soon after, a few sheets of paper clutched in hand. Ford steps quickly out of the kitchen, and you follow to the doorway, getting there just in time to see the apparent tug-of-war between Mabel and her pig over a saliva-covered sheet of paper. The paper rips, and after nearly toppling backwards from her efforts, Mabel recovers, snatching a scrap of ripped paper from Waddles' jaws and lifting both pieces up victoriously. Guys, that's a mouthful. I don't know how I didn't stutter. Yes, yes. Praise me more in the comments. Haha. Mabel wins again. Now I just gotta find Grunkle Ford! Ford, who'd run forward and held out a hand to steady this energetic child when she'd been in danger of toppling over, now finds a number of crumpled sheets of paper shoved into his hands. Mabel tugs urgently on his coat. Grunkle Ford, you have to help me. Ford kneels down to face Mabel with a serious, though concerned look. Why is he not kneeling down for me? Huh? Huh? Where's the ring? I'm sick and tired of this man. Get on with it! Slow down, Mabel. What's the matter? Dipper found a stack of pages from your old journals, and I walked in and Waddles ran up and started eating one of them. He must have been chewing on it to warn me, Grunkle Ford, because look! Mabel takes the ripped tabs of the paper from Ford's hand and joins them together, holding it up for Ford to see. I see, and you took it as a warning. Yes, it says here that he eats small dogs, and Waddles is a small pig, but he sort of looks like a dog from far away, and Waddles must have feared for his life. You laughed at that line last time, too.
It's so funny.
Waddles seems to second this notion with a snort. Or not. As it seems the pig is lounging adorably a short distance away in the hallway. You can't imagine what this dangerous predator could be. Some kind of wolf? Something bigger? You're suddenly not so keen on staying anymore. Who's your? Because I'm not your. I'm very keen on staying forever.
It's
actually.
not me.
I'm never leaving.
I don't care who's out there. It doesn't matter what's out
My
there.
dad
It
will
matters
protect
what's
me.
here. Yeah.
Remember the pterodactyl I told you about? Waddles was so scared that time. I can't let him leave my side. Pterodactyl? You suppose pigs are allowed in museums around here? Guys, I know it's pterodactyl. Calm down. Dude, because I know someone's in the comments not gonna get the bit. How about I finish that repellent I never got around to completing? That'll keep Waddles safe from harm. Mabel flops down on the floor in relief. Go Ford, you're an actual lifesaver. Waddles, you have nothing to fear. Ford chuckles, lifting himself out of a kneel and standing back up. Alright, I'll go get my recipe. Ford turns to leave, and you suddenly remember that with nothing better to do for the weeks, you're going to be here. It wouldn't hurt to get to know Ford. He seems to know what there is to do around town anyway, and you'll need that to not die of boredom in the first week. Or more pressingly, you could go check on your car and see what Stan's made of it so far. You're not exactly eager to face your car in the side of the house again, though. What should you do? We all know I'm gonna get to know Ford. Let's be so for real. Don't even have to think about it. Ford, wait. Need a hand with that recipe? I can handle it myself. Are you sure you couldn't use a hand? I mean, he has an extra finger. What could you do with an extra hand? Ford looks away then, and you follow his averted line of sight to Mabel, who's just mouthed something that you couldn't catch. When she catches you looking her way, Mabel gives you a 100-watt smile, the picture of innocence. Ford rubs at the back of his neck. Yes, I suppose I can accept some help. And with that, assured that Ford is on the task, you spot Mabel rolling away with Waddles into the living room. Before we get started, I suppose I should give you an introduction. Plutify, tell me, do you believe in the supernatural? I want to. Well, you're about to come face to face with the unexplainable yourself. You see, Gravity Falls in some quiet, unassuming backwater town. Much more lurks below its surface. Ford pockets the crumpled journal papers and gestures for you to join him as he walks. You do. And follow him through the living room and into the gift shop. For example, you must have heard Mabel mention a pterodactyl. Most would say none exists in the living world today, but I say, not if you never stop unbelieving. I was thinking that today, my mom was like, that's not real, Lily, and I'm like, it is to me. Never don't stop unbelieving. But I say, not if you know where to look. If anyone else told you this, you'd be disinclined to believe them. But the authority Ford carries is surprisingly compelling. Ford reaches under the cashier counter and retrieves a packet of vintage-looking gum. Inspecting it for a moment
What you can't see, guys, right now is Lily's twirling her hair while she says this.
Stop! Not you exposing me, what the heck? He looks around in thought. Hold on to my explanation for the moment. I need to retrieve some more supplies. Ford ushers you out into the gift shop entrance so that you find yourself on the outside of the shack, then shuts the door behind you. Okay. I kind of want to see. I can just go back.
Okay, if you go back.
Never don't stop unbelieving. Oh. Then I should have just suspected that. That's what we did last time anyway, because when someone doesn't want you to know something, sometimes it is better to just not know. Respecting people's boundaries is very important, guys. You, correctly and politely, just stand out there until Ford returns. You maybe scan the sky for a pterodactyl while you wait. Not too long later, the door opens behind you and Ford joins you outside, looking no different than before. He must have stored whatever supplies he went in to retrieve in his coat. But the trench coat falls too naturally on his figure for him to be hiding much. Wow. The girl's just like taking in every detail of his figure. Where were we? Ah, yes. Ford pulls out
You were just about to take me to your bedroom. That's where we were.
Wait, I think that's right. Ford pulls his pen and pad of paper from his coat, walking as he writes. Just as you're about to head out, he stops and smacks his hand to his face. Oh shoot, 1 second. Ford hurries back to the house, realizing he forgot one important component to this adventure. A butterfly net. Before you get a chance to ask, he strides out ahead of you, obviously in no mind to tell you what it's for quite yet. The pair of you walk past the shack and down a well-worn path into the trees surrounding the house, sunlight peeking between the pines. He double-checks whatever he scribbled onto the paper and tucks it back into his coat's seemingly infinite pockets. He stops and turns to face you with a definitive nod. My recipe for repellent is called for a sprig of lavender, 2 thin slices of ginseng, a drop of bat blood, a chunk of amber, and 3.5 milliliters of ink. He pauses, staring down at the path in thought. Obviously, I already have those components on hand, all except for one last ingredient, a single moth's wing from Mothman itself. You can't help it. You gasp. Ford glances at you, and you think you see a hint of a smile before he turns back to the path to continue along, wind ruffling through his hair. You see, Mothman's the very creature on the page that Waddles seems to fear. Using a piece of itself should ward it away, or at least lead it to believe that Waddles isn't for eating. I would have already completed the repellent years ago if I'd managed to collect that wing. Was it too difficult? Oh, I just never got around to it. Besides, Mothman used to come and bat at this lamp I had lit in the backyard. It seemed like such an innocent hobby that I never had the heart to chase it off. But if this brings Mabel and her pig a peace of mind... A peace of mind? No. I don't think that's the saying, but okay. Then the time has come to finish this. Sunlight flutters in through the trees, causing dappled shadows across Ford's coat as he leads it on in front of you. Break the silence? How do you know so much about this stuff? I study anomalies. Yeah. Cool backstory stuff.
Stop! Because it's exactly what I've experienced right now.
I study anomalies, anything unusual, strange, and just plain weird. I began my research in this town because it was, and remains, a hotbed of paranormal activity. I made this exact trip years ago, though. At the time, I had no idea where I was going. It was just dumb luck that I managed to tail Mothman back to its cave from my backyard. Navigating the forest by moonlight is poetic, but not advisable. I made plenty of other discoveries as well, from fairies to gnomes to amalgams of creatures who were never meant to cross to... wait. Ford reaches into his pocket and pulls out a slightly crumpled page. They never stop unbelieving. And pulls out the slightly crumpled pages. It really helps clear my mind, you know. Mabel had pushed into his hand earlier, smoothing them out and shuffling through them. Take a look at these. They're more definitive proof than just my word. You accept the pages from him and find that they're scanned pages of some sort of journal, and just as you heard Mabel say, fluid cursive tells of Mothman, bear cubs, campfires, and more. Ford gestures to them and explains. I detail my discoveries in a series of research journals. The remaining pages, at least, I wonder where Stanley was keeping these. You drew these? Were any of these ever dangerous? They must have gotten into some pretty crazy stuff back then.
Wow, you must have gotten some pretty crazy stuff back then.
We can get into some pretty crazy stuff right now.
Yeah.
He will be mine. Blah blah blah. Backstory stuff. That's one way to put it. Only took 6 years for me to get in over my head. He takes a silent moment to look away from your gaze, saving me in bittersweet remembrance. Here come the people in the comments being like, "Oh, we found Bill Cipher's alt." Okay, guys, very funny. Okay. Where did these creatures
well.
No. Oh, extremely. Somewhere where it's dangerously annoying. Though Ford seems to find his own comment amusing, he doesn't fail to notice your unease. I do have weapons in case things escalate, so there's no need to worry. You brought weapons? Not many, you know, I have a stun gun, my fists, and my sharp wit. I feel safer already.
You know what else? Considered a weapon in all
There's some stuff to impale with. Let's just say. Billy, stop! Billy! Stop! My dog's being bad. Okay.
Oh no, Billy! You don't want that old man, he's mine!
Do these? Yes, of course, who else? They're so photorealistic, I love your line work. These ink washes look so masterfully executed. Give an ambiguous and ultimate element I've seen better. We did! The ink washes look so masterfully executed. Should I do they're so photorealistic?
That's what I would go for again.
Again? Okay. My work is now far better, but I appreciate the compliment. Despite his understated words, Ford looks surprisingly pleased. You didn't bring your magnet gun? I thought it would be prudent to leave its magnetic fields alone for a while until I have the time to optimize it. You see, I was trying to widen the field of magnetic influence, but it's been a while since I last worked with the gun. I need to refamiliarize myself with its inner workings. My guess is I switched a wrong wire or two and instead narrowed the beam. I'd like to see how it works sometimes. Really, you know, if you're interested in devices like that, my old research colleague Fiddleford would love to have more to show you. Fiddleford. Hey.
He's crazy now.
Good author.
I don't know what you're thinking about.
Yeah, for real. As if that's not McGucket. Okay. I'm hip with the kids. I know the lore. He's the engineering genius around here. Maybe they fixed him. I don't know. Though I don't think...
Oh, well, no, wait. He's still smart. He's just also crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It says here that Mothman turns into a bunch of moths. Yes, that's how we'll get the moth wing. Then why not use mothballs as repellent? Well, I've never tried. Could the most conventional method be the most unconventional one? Or would Mothman be able to overcome its most mothly nature and persist? You mentioned gnomes? Other places have rats, mice, and insects as house pests. We have gnomes. Picture your typical garden gnome, but more disturbing. Will we catch sight of that pterodactyl? I doubt we'll spot it today, but perhaps we can go bird watching later if you're interested. So he just asked me on a date, guys. I'm in. W Riz.
He's beekeeping age.
He is. This is only.
He's bird watching age. He's bird watching.
I don't know.
Age.
I think it's kind of cute. Bird watching. Dipper, I want to fuck your Gruckle. So that's this leprechaun. Ugh. You wait for a further answer, but that's it. So there are floating eyeballs here? Sounds disconcerting, doesn't it? I once released them in my house by accident and found eyeballs in the most unsuspecting places for months.
I'm sorry, that's so cute.
He's such a dork. My guess chose not to comment on that type of house decor. Dude, if anyone is watching this video and you look like him, please hit me up. Please.
Oh my god.
And especially if you have money. Gravity Falls is home to giant vampire bats. Giant fruit bats, actually. They were among the first to teach me not to judge a creature by its reputation. I only realized they were harmless once I'd been bitten by one. Oh no, that still sounds pretty bad. It actually healed quite fast. I attribute that to the health kick I was on soon after. You mentioned the Grimoblin? Ah, rare specimen that I've since steered clear of when I was accompanied by others. Though if you want to see one in person, I'm sure it wouldn't hurt to walk into that situation again for the sake of education.
He wants to go into dangerous situations with me.
Trauma bond! He wants a trauma bond. Walk in silence. Suddenly, Ford puts out his arm in caution, slowing his pace. So I can hold it? So I can hold it?
Dude, I'm sorry. I would bump into it on purpose.
I would, dude. I would too. I'd be like, oh, sorry.
And I would be like, you know, I'd be like, oh, sorry. And I'd like,
I
hold
wasn't
on.
looking where I was going. I can't help it.
Ah!
You narrowly managed not to collide into him. I didn't. I didn't narrowly manage.
I didn't. It's into him.
And take a quick glance around to see nothing. Look, there. You see what looks like a bundled up plaid shirt moving across the forest floor. Wait, is that a beaver's tail? It looks like a platypus. What are you doing all the way out here? Do you mean a platypus? Ford shakes his head with a grin. I meant what I said. It's a platypus. A platypus. Ford moves into a crowd at a respectable distance. What?
I need to see it. I think it would be really cute.
It would be so cute. I know. It's so cute how happy it's making him, and the way he talks to it.
I need to know what his favorite one is. I need to know.
Following the small creature, you watch him, and after a moment, mimic his actions. Ford's giving the creature a bright smile, the first of its kind that you've seen since leaving Maple at the shack. That should be directed at me. You're a cute one, aren't you? And one of my favorite patterns, too. Ford motions for you to
I want to know.
To the distance
what's his favorite pattern?
If I were to rate the oddities that live in the forest on a scale of least to most annoying, these little guys would get immunity. They've done nothing wrong and I appreciate them for it. As the two of you watch in quiet appreciation, the platypus ambles into the underbrush and vanishes from view. What a cute little guy. He was actually talking about me. That's what they won't tell you. The two of you continue deeper into the forest. The foliage seems denser now, and you look through the treetops for a glimpse of the sun, which has by now dropped low in the sky. It had already been getting late when you left, but you hadn't thought Mothman would be this far out. Almost as though he'd read your mind forward answers for you. Mothman's rather reclusive, and as such, lives deeper within the forest than bolder creatures like the gnomes. Are you alright? Huh? That is, are you tired at all? I should have asked sooner. It's just been a long time since I've traveled with anyone new. Stanley tends to speak his mind without my help. Or my asking. I think we should... Okay, guys. This is a little bit metagaming, but we're gonna stop anyway, so I think I should say I'm tired. Maybe. Thoughts?
No, I think we should, because at the end, more metagaming, he compliments us on being able to keep up with him. And,
more metagaming. Metagaming alert. Okay, I'm fine. I'm glad to hear it. Still, we have some time until sunset. Let's wait here in the meantime. You mentioned traveling with Stan. Is this what you do for fun?
I think that's what we did last time.
Yeah. Saving my niece's pet from possible danger? No, not really. I mean, what about trips like these and your research? They come with a certain thrill, and I do enjoy my research, but one of my most favorite pastimes, Deb tells me it's actually grown quite popular recently, is playing dungeons, and more dungeons. I believe Dipper's prepared a campaign he thinks will really stump me this time. I'm incredibly excited. The moment the sun touches the horizon through the gaps in the treetops, Ford gestures for the two of you to continue. You hadn't noticed, but you've been resting within short distance of a small clearing that holds a cylindrical stone marker. The reason I didn't ask about Stan is because I don't want him to think I'm thinking about other men in his presence, you know? I want to know about him. I don't want to know about his brother. And I feel like it might bring up some sour memories. The stone marker bears intricate swirls carved into its surface. Ford reaches into his coat and produces a packet of gum from earlier, opening it and dumping the piece into his palm. Gum? Always. Unsure of why you came all the way out here to unwrap gum at sunset, you accept the stick of gum. Ford puts the remaining gum in his coat breast pocket. Can I have that gum instead, please? Oh my god. He unwraps the now empty gum packet to reveal that it was hiding a small piece of parchment, folded up to ask its never stop unbelieving. Folded up to act of learning. He smooths it out against the stone, holding it under the deep orange-red light of the sunset. You step closer to look at Ford's shoulder. The parchment holds a detailed drawing of the swirls carved into the stone, documenting every crack in the surface. As you watch, a golden cursive unfolds itself across the page, seemingly fueled by the sunset's warm light. Ford reads the words as they appear. Such a place the Mothman doth rest, but please do not disturb his nest. If kindness be something thou breft, Ford lifts the parchment a little higher to prevent his strata from obscuring the rest of the line. Follow thy nature and turn left. Guys, I think we turn right. We turn left. I think so, Plutify. We press onward. More metagaming, guys. Last time I pressed, I think we go right to be funny, and I thought he'd laugh, but he thought I was serious, and I was like, I forgot he was autistic. Left leads.
Would it be wrong if I asked, "Is you autistic?" Because I like that. I like that autistic man.
Left leads you to a dimly lit cave, which Ford says he remembers well. Except last time he was here, it was pitch black since he arrived in the middle of the night. From his steps, you hear faint sounds of dripping water echoing off the cave's shadow-shrouded walls. You slow as your eyes attempt to adjust to the low light. Ford pauses in front of you, reaching into his coat for something. Hold on, I have a flashlight in here somewhere. This cave has never received much natural light, you see, and... He emerges further, and you see a couple dice, a pad of paper from earlier, and a quill. He has some custom Never stop unbelieving! He has some custom pocket work going on in there, too, and you bet one of his coat's inner pockets has a pen protector in it. Here we are, at last. Allow me to... Darn. Out of batteries. Dude, he just used this on our eyes yesterday. What do you mean it's out of batteries? Wait, I think I have one. You pull out your phone and turn on its flashlight. The light is small, but it does its job. Huh. You saved our hides there, Plutify. I was about to pull out a matchbook. With your light guiding the way, you and Ford moved further into the cave, which yawns wide around you. It isn't until a sliver of natural light from the entrance disappears that Ford speaks again. It's been years since I've been here. Decades even, at this point. But I'll always remember that eye bats as one of my first discoveries when I arrived at Gravity Falls. How did you find them in the first place? One got in my house, you see. I was making breakfast one morning and one managed to find my cereal box. When I poured the
That's so
cereal into the
cute.
bowl, it came fluttering out, agitated like it belonged there. The nerve! So indignant, even years later, that you laugh. I wanted to contain it for further study, but unfortunately it managed to get away. As I thought about it afterwards, its people had constructed against the light, unfamiliar of the bright light in the kitchen, so either it's nocturnal or it lives in the deepest, darkest cave of Gravity Falls. I found them easy after that. Dude, only he would notice things like that. He's so observant. I hope he observes my
He can
feelings.
observe something else.
Oh my god, my brother's being so loud in the background. Did you manage to catch one? Somewhat. I came running through this cave with a butterfly net in my wits. I brought a working flashlight that time. They all hid in dark in corners. Once I turned the flashlight off, they flocked to me. I caught 18 of them that day, but it reminded me of the stealth uses of. The rapid sound of clicking claws against the stone startles you. A shiver running up your spine. The dark. You turn off your light. 4 taps your shoulders and gestures for you to keep moving forward. Eventually, the narrow passage widens into a large room. The darkness shrouds the source of dripping water from view, but as your eyes adjust, you squint to see a strange winged shadow. A shadow with eyes that glow red in the near darkness like rubies. Your breath catches in your throat as the realization comes over you. Ford is apparently fairly close to you in the room. You find when he speaks a few inches from your shoulder. I wouldn't mind if we were trapped in here together. Oh, shoot, I went forward. You catch the shadow of his arm swinging in a wide arc like he's introducing you to. Plutify, I'd like for you to meet the Mothman. He whispers, but even in the dark you see him grinning excitedly at you. Oh my god. I love it when people are passionate about things. Ford looks between you and the Mothman, apparently hoping for a dramatic reaction. Your speechlessness seems to satisfy him. Don't worry, it hasn't noticed us yet. Here's the plan. You make contact with Mothman and I... He pulls out a butterfly net in a large lidded jar. Now where that one came from within his code of mysteries is lost to you. We'll capture one of the 100 moths that comprise it. Wait, I get to touch Mothman? The Mothman? Yes, and it turns into 100 black witch moths, like it's experiencing a swarm of locusts. Surprising when you're not expecting it. Remember, even just a light touch is enough. You steer yourself, awaiting Ford's signal. He waves his hand to coax you forward, and then it's up to you to decide how to, well, make contact. Okay, hey guys, metagaming here. Welcome back. So last time we were around this blind spot and we ate shit. So I think we approach it with stealth, especially because he was just talking about the uses of stealth in the dark. Alright. You tiptoe towards the Mothman, remembering Ford's comment on the dark and trying to channel your inner stealth skills. Of course, that's the moment your phone decides to start blasting Taking Over Midnight by Ampersandra. You're confused before remembering that Mabel added her number to your contacts and must have made that her custom ringtone. Mothman turns up the noise and screeches. But before you can barrel into it, the creature explodes into 100 moths, fluttering around you, getting stuck in your shirt and skidding around your face, surrounding you and Mothie. Your task accomplished. Ford rushes into a large swarm of moths, waving the butterfly net and a few unsuccessful swipes. He tries swatting the more aggressive ones away, but there are too many.
Oh my god!
Which one? Oh man, this is a new situation.
I want to distract them from Ford.
Yeah. You grab your phone and quickly switch the light on, running to Ford's side and holding it up high. You even attempt to call them over despite knowing that they don't respond to sound. Before long, they all crowd around their phone. The sight of light flickering and reflecting off so many small wings should be somewhat captivating if you hadn't been in the midst of them. Ford puts the butterfly net back away and drawer in hand carefully scoops one of the moths up. Well, that could have gone better, but we succeeded nonetheless.
Oh my god, I think we need to go back, because I do not think that was the right way.
Oh man. No, I can't go back!
Oh man.
I can't go back! Dude, I can't go back! I can't go back!
Oh man.
Hold on, don't worry, I have a save here. Okay.
Dude, we have to play through that whole thing.
No, we can skip, it's okay. I'll cut this out so no one will know. Alright, back to his book.
Well, we haven't. We should save here and run straight for it. Cause now I want to see what happens.
With an honorable battle cry, you charge through the Mothman. It lets out a screech and beats its wings aggressively, cueing you to drive straight at it. As soon as you make contact with Mothman's chest, a swarm of moths flutter around you trying to escape. Wait, moths, of course! You turn the light of your phone back on and the bright light spooks the moths while keeping a few dancing around the light source. Nice! You walk slowly back to Ford, who sees the remaining moths floating around the phone in your hands and puts the butterfly net back in his coat. He gently brings the jar over to them and screws it close. Well done, Flutify. That wasn't too hard, was it?
That was the least. That surprisingly, I thought that would be the most embarrassing one.
Oh, that was the least embarrassing one. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna continue on with this because he seems to like that. Metagaming here. Ford pockets the jar and turns off your phone's light, releasing a few remaining moths back into the darkness. That was amazing. Ford laughs, brushing dirt and dust and dirt off his trench coat. You could say that. Our complete repellent is within sight. Let's head back. Ford turns to leave the cave. He looks calm and content. You, on the other hand, are buzzing with energy under an adrenaline rush. Should you go for a high five? Always!
Yes.
Yeah! Shout out to the artist. I don't know who drew this, but it's cute. You raise your hand in a universally understood offer of a high five. Ford pauses, then grins, high-fiving you, or rather, 6-ing you? He can 12 me. When you and Ford finally reach the cave entrance, you find the forest that you left in the dying light is now awash with a silvery glow. A gap between the leaves overhead provides a view of the night sky, along with long strips of stars. Strings of stars, that's what I said, shut up. A few more steps and the Milky Way comes into view, looking as if it tear across the fabric of the sky. Ford notices you looking. See something? The pterodactyl doesn't usually come out this late, but being a prehistoric creature, its behavior is rather unpredictable. I've never seen the Milky Way in person before. It looks amazing, isn't it? It's remarkable what you can see without the light pollution from the city. Here on the outskirts of town, you can get a good portion of the Milky Way every night. He gazes into the sky. The whole year has passed, yet it feels strange to see the sky I recognize. What? Oh, traveling, you know. I was in different parts of the world. You both stare up at the sky in a comfortable silence for a few more moments. The quiet of the forest settles in, along with the distant sound of flowing water, and you find yourself surprisingly glad that Ford had accidentally pulled you here, if this is one of the moments you get to experience. Out of the corner of your eye, you swear you see Ford looking at you instead of up. Yeah, the sky really is beautiful, I say, looking at him. But when you tilt your head back down, his attention is elsewhere. Eventually, the two of you come to a wordless mutual agreement to continue on, and you're walking again. You'll have to show me the other creatures that live here sometime. You're glad you said so when you look over and find that Ford looks pleasantly surprised to hear it. His chest puffs out with pride. Of course. Maybe we'll even get to spot the hide behind, or tag along with Dipper when he next visits the multi-bear. The what? Ford taps his temple, grinning. You'll have to wait until I show you to find out. I'm holding on to that. Did you see that smile?
I need it!
I lost something once!
I lost something once.
We have some time before we get back if you're up for another walk. Yeah, you must have made a face because Ford looks back to you and laughs. We're not far, I promise. I just thought I might answer a few of your questions if you have any. Yeah, let's do that. However, whatever you want, dear. You must stay in great shape if you do this all day. Ha! You know, actually, this sort of thing isn't part of my exercise regimen. Ford turns left at the stone marker, towards the sound of the river, and sure enough, after a while, it comes into view. The moonlight illuminates the water as you walk along it. After following the river for quite a few minutes, the shoreline expands into a small round lake in the center of a clearing. Overhanging it is a large flat rock, the kind that can be used as a less than effective diving board in times of emergency. The emergency being that one just had to jump into the lake. However, neither yourself nor Ford really look in the direction of the diving board. He leads you towards the edge of the lake where a relatively flat boulder could substitute for a bench, and the two of you take a seat. Break the silence? Ask about the other creatures in Gravity Falls. You said to wait, but can I at least get a preview of what I'd be getting into? Not content to leave them to discover yourself? Well, has anyone ever told you about the Gobblewonker? You snort, taken aback by the name, but compose yourself when Ford simply raises an eyebrow. I don't think so, no. Not even the tourist guide? Does the office even read my letters? Ford mutters to himself something about updating the tourist guide to warn against local dangers. He sighs with frustration that's reserved for bureaucracy, but soon lightens up at the prospect of getting to introduce you to another strange creature. Well, the Gobblewonker is a large sea creature that lives in this very lake. One could say it's our version of the Loch Ness Monster. My old research assistant apparently saw it at some point. He said it was a large, gray, and scaly, with a long neck like a giraffe. You wouldn't have had any odd sightings yet, have you? It's only been 24 hours, but my own first encounter with the strange occurred shortly after my arrival as well. Not apart from today. Well, don't count on that being the norm, Plutify. In fact, the norm is a laughable concept here. You ask Ford if he has a favorite constellation, and his answer comes out faster than you expected. Orion and Ursa Major without a doubt. What about you? Pluto's is Ursa Major, so we picked Ursa Major.
I'm pretty sure, and I might be lying to y'all, let me look this up, but I think Ursa Major is the Big Dipper, and that's my favorite one. And it's also the only one that I know, so.
I thought the Ursa Major was it looked like a bear or something. I could be wrong, though.
Let me look. Ursa.
I like Sagittarius, the Sagittarius one. I'm a Sagittarius guy, so.
Ursa Major is the Big Dipper.
Oh, and he likes that because that's his grandson. Okay, we're just like you. Coincidentally, Ursa Major. Well, you must have good taste.
I do.
His family. So, what is Mabel like? In short, a force to be reckoned with. She radiates charm and positivity and has depths of determination I can only guess at. You'll have to find out yourself. Most likely. It's hard not to wake up one day and find yourself her friend. Perhaps you already are. He wiggles his finger spookily in the air and you laugh. I don't doubt it. So, what is Dipper like? Dipper's very intelligent. In many ways, he reminds me of, well, myself. Last summer, he found the research journals I mentioned and instead of overlooking them, made some impressive contributions of his own. He's since started his own journal and I look forward to seeing where life will take him. He's made me prouder than I can say. That should be me. That should be me holding your hand.
No!
That should be me making you laugh. So, who's Seuss?
It will be me.
Ah, the handyman Seuss. I'm not really sure what he does exactly, but Stan gave him the rights to conduct his business with the shack, so he spends his day giving out tours, selling merchandise, fooling the townsfolk, giving no refunds, and the like. I may not have been around the original Mystery Shack very often while Stan was still running it, but I believe Seuss is doing the brand name good. So, what is Stan like? Stubborn, foolhardy, a liar, and a cheapskate. But a true hero at heart. There's no one I'd rather call my brother. Ask about the Mystery Shack. Ah yes, the Mystery Shack used to be my house once upon a time, and now it's a tourist trap. I'm glad for what it's become as a home. I just wish it weren't so offending to each of the senses. Ask about staying. Can I stay with you forever? Oh, I mean, are you really okay with me staying here? Absolutely. I owe it to you after all. You helping me today, however, was not part of the plan. You're making it rather harder to settle my debt. I think you did me a favor by letting me come along today. The two of you share a smile. Ford looks out across the lake in thought. Plutify, I have to admit, I didn't want to take you with me earlier today. I thought I'd be walking myself into an uncomfortable social situation. So did you, to be honest. And you did well out there. Not many tourists could handle that kind of task we just completed. This had the potential to have gone disastrously. I mean, a butterfly net against Mothman? Easily a 3% success rate. Sometimes the more Ford speaks, the less reassured you feel, until it's all left is a distant unease. You smile and nod anyway. The two of you sit for another moment of quiet, night air pleasantly chill around you until Ford again breaks it. We should head back now. I'm sure Mabel will want to hear that we've been successful. You stand and give Ford a hand out from the makeshift bench. Hey, his back's not what it used to be, guys.
Not after I'm done with it.
Whoa! Ford takes the lead again, and soon you're no longer able to catch sight of the lake when you glance back. Ford gradually adjusts his pace to yours, walking side by side with you in companionable silence all the way back to the shack. Almost there. You recognize from the incredibly flashy signs touting phrases like Mystery Shack this way to Sasquatch on your left. Like you were extremely... I found
that really funny last time.
Yeah, you laughed at that, and I think I did too. They're extremely close to arriving back at the shack. As you and Ford leave the tree line, you see the bright lights shining on the porch. You make out a faint... You make out. we make out. The faint outline of the kids' shadows as they run through the house and emerge from the attic window. And Mabel pushes it open, leaning out. Grunkle Ford, finally, you guys took so long I had to cover waddles and macaroni. Why would you do that? I have my reasons. Did you get the thing? Yes, and I'm coming inside so we can stop shouting. Plutify, come along. We've got a pig to save. Ford strides into the shack, a man on a mission. You grin and follow, but not before taking one last look at the sky. Yeah, maybe your stay won't be too bad after all. No, it's gonna be awesome.
sorry. The way he's taking this, like, seriously, like, we've got a pig to save.
Oh, dork.
He's
Back
so
inside
good
the
with
shack,
kids.
the grand conclusion to your expedition to the Mothman's cave is spritzing Mabel's peg in a newly finished deterrent until the poor piglet reeks with lavender. You see Mabel and Dipper head up to the bed looking sleepier than usual. What?
The conclusion is that he's gonna have children from him and me.
That's the conclusion of it all. The conclusion of it all is that Dipper has new cousins. You see Mabel and Dipper head to the bed looking sleepier than usual as a result. Something about lavender is so soothing to the senses that you crash out fairly soon afterwards, face first on your makeshift bed. Love meter? I feel like it might be more filled than before, maybe? I don't know. We've gotten to the point that Pluto and I don't know any of this.
Yeah, we can't metagame anymore.
Yeah.